Madness and Civilization, A History of Insanity in the Age of Reason, 1961, a philosophical work by the French thinker Michel Foucault, traces the history and shifting definitions of madness within Western thought from the Renaissance onward. Foucault drew inspiration for the book from his experience as a research intern at the Psychiatric Institute of Paris's St. Anne Hospital. The opening chapter, titled Stultifera Navis Latin for Ship of Fools, references an allegory found in Book IV of Plato's Republic. Foucault begins his exploration of madness by examining the decline of leprosy at the onset of the Middle Ages. Because leprosy was both incurable and contagious, sufferers were confined to isolated spaces such as islands or sanatoriums. Yet when leprosy disappeared, these systems of segregation endured. In this way, the Ship of Fools, once a literary metaphor, became a reality. Those deemed mad were sent to the very institutions formerly reserved for lepers. By the 15th century, Foucault observes, madness began to acquire new cultural significance. While the reasonable accepted the world as it appeared, the mad perceived beyond ordinary human experience, attaining a form of secret knowledge. During this period, the mad were increasingly associated with the extremes of human emotion. Foucault cites Shakespearean figures such as Ophelia and King Lear, whose desperation and passion pushed them into madness. Such depictions made madness a compelling subject for artists, including Shakespeare and Cervantes. With the advent of the Age of Reason, however, madness was redefined as the direct opposite of reason. Rather than existing beyond comprehension, insanity was positioned at the pole opposing sanity, forming a linear spectrum. This conceptual shift led to what Foucault terms the Great Confinement. Society sought to preserve order by isolating the mad, preventing their perceived disorder from infecting the population, much as lepers had once been segregated. Madness was increasingly criminalized, with the police acting as enforcers of sanity. New social and economic structures reinforced this separation. The Industrial Revolution, with its burgeoning urban workforce, gave the wealthy incentive to isolate workers from the influence of the mad. This pattern of segregation ushered in the modern era of madness. By concentrating the mad in specific institutions, medical practitioners found a controlled environment for observation, study, and treatment. While Foucault acknowledges the humanitarian motivation behind this approach, he notes that the confinement of the mad framed as therapy produced outcomes as controlling and punitive as earlier methods of isolation. Foucault identifies three historical stages in the conceptualization of madness. During the Renaissance, madness was thought to exist beyond reason in the classical era. It was viewed as opposing reason in the modern era. Reason attempts to reshape madness in its own image. Each stage, he argues, carries its own set of problems. The book concludes with an analysis of madness in 19th century art, focusing on Francisco Goya. Foucault contrasts Goya's The Madhouse, in which the mad are imprisoned, with his series Los Disparates, The Follies, where the mad inhabit darkness. Here, madness is no longer defined by institutional isolation or societal power structures. Instead, it becomes an internalized experience projected outward through art. The artist, Foucault contends, can reclaim madness from the psychiatrists who seek only to separate, study, and cure it. This is not to suggest that madness is necessary for artistic genius. Foucault notes that Vincent van Gogh considered his art and his madness to be in tension. Yet the modern artistic treatment of madness asserts that it need not justify itself to reason. Rather, reason must account for itself to madness. Although psychiatry and the study of mental illness have evolved substantially since the book's publication, Madness and Civilization continues to invite readers to question and reconsider deeply ingrained assumptions about madness in Western culture. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe.